my preface, my preamble. All right, let us spread Vrndavana. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Guru Shri Rupa
Krishna Chaitanya Deva
Om Agarati
Jana Jana Salakaya Satsurikanjana Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha
Puja Shri Guru
Bhagavan Gita Mahaprabhan Vidya Shara Dashalita Pranyapate Bhakti Nirmala Nivasha Nitam Sarasakam Sagaram Bhante Sri Devananda Priyacharya Varjaniya
Purvabhista
Gavishta Purakam Purugara Shisha Sambhushita Sindhya Sindha Samastaveda Punam Sri Rupa Vantanuga
Govinda
Govinda Vidanukaram Bharatam Bhaktamitam Sundaram Bhante Vishwa Charivya Bhagavat Primo Priya Pradam
Devam
Devam Diyatanu Sushanta Vaganam Palarka Sela Sitam Sangananda Param Salika Bharanam Vaidya Vidya Buddhim
Sri Srila
Nidhi Shubhakti Lasitam Sarasvatanam Bharam Vandeta Shubham Malika Saranam Jashikara Sriharam
Sri Siddhanta Saraswati
Sarasvati Gauriyam Baye Bhagavan Vivagavada Kani Gauna Sankirtane Ayavadati Giravara Gadangi Jajivam Krishna Brahma Shubhaligahan Shukam Praja Pramutam Baye Namo Gaura Kishoraya Bhakta Valuta Murtaye Gaudangri Padma Vrindaya Radhavani Sevine
Vande Bhakti
Vande Bhakti Vinodam Sri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Sasya Sampraya Radha Sudhanidhi
Gaura
Gaura Braya Rita Sheshai Vaisnava Vanya Vegaha Jagannatha Prabhu Vande Premadi Pina Vaisnava Chakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Jaeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha Panchatattvamakam Krishna Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktavyam Namami Bhakta Sartikam
Namo
Namo Mahavadaya Krishna Premanandate Visnaya Krishna Chaitanya Name Gauri Dase Namaha
Haritam Suratam
Jayatam Srata Upango Manamanta Gati Masarvasva Palambujo Radha Madana
Vrndavana,
Vrndavana,
Nityamitaranya Kalpadumata,
Kalpadrumada,
Primarankara Simhasnastau,
Srimadrustangara
Nimgandarbhasila Govinda Devau, Prestarivi Semanami Smarami,
Devanami Smarami,
Devan Rasa
Devan
Viman
Rasa
Rasa
Rasami,
Rasami,
Rasa,
Vansi Vagatata Stita, Karsambenu Svaneri Gopi, Gopinata
Gopi, Gopinata,
Sriyestuna,
Sunaha,
Vrindaya
Vrindaya
Vindaya
Tulasiyai,
Tulasiyai,
Priyaya Kesavajacha, Krishna Bhakti Pradevi, Satyavajaya
Bhagavate
Namo
Namo
Namaha,
Namaha,
Atana Brahman,
Achanatra Mantra Guru,
Bhagavatar,
Guru
Guru
Bhagavataram,
Bhagavataram,
Vyasanjaga
Yasan Jagat
Gurunarva,
Gurunatha,
Atoyayam
Tato Jaya
Bhuvidaye,
Jai Sarika, Shri Shri
Jaya
Guru
Stavarikara Sri Sri
Sankara
Guru
Sri
Gauranga Gandharva
Gandharva,
Govinda Sundar Padam
Sundar Govinda
Panjayastu,
Padam Padmanam Jayastu,
Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishna
Prabhu
Chaitanya, Prabhu
Nityananda, Sri
Nityananda,
Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara,
Advaita
Sri
Gadadhara,
Vasadi Gaura
Srivasadi
Bhaktavinda,
Gaura
Hare
Bhaktivinoda,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ramo, Hare
Rama,
Ramo,
Hare
Ramo
Rama, Rama
Ramo,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Shri Guru Maharaj, Shri Gurudev, Shri Chaitanya, Srila Santa Maharaj Ki Jai,
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 Giri Govardhana Ki Jai,
Jai,
Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinda Ki Jai.
Jai,
Glories to the assembled devotees,
Jai,
glories to the
Jai.
worldwide devotees, for
Jai.
Premanandi,
Hare Hare.
Hare.
Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Jai, Jai.
Hare Krishna. Reading from Sri Prapanna-jivanamrtam, Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Dev, Jayo Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Maharaja Sattva, Sri Sripad Bhakti, Rakshak Dev-Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai,
Jai.
Jai Sri Sri Prapanna-jivanamrtam Ki Jai.
Jai.
Text 22 on chapter 3, I think. Raja Bhajana Taratab Janu Puti Vaikuntha Stanito Vara Madhupuri Tatapi Darhotsavat Vrindaranyam Rudara Pani Ramanat Tatapi Govardhana Radha Kunna Mihapi Gokula Pate Premaripta Pravanat Gordiyat Asya Virajato Giritate Seva Viveki Nakaha by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami, sorry. The comparative ontological conception of devotion in Vrndavana. This is a quite amazing verse, actually, and one of the amazing gems of Vaishnava theology. The ability to distinguish between fine levels of theistic understanding, theistic knowledge, the gradations of theistic understanding, from less inclusive to more inclusive, from less comprehensive to more comprehensive, based on the principles of rasa, of taste, not so much on an ontological, although it describes an ontological means a real existence, a real spiritual existence, describes existence in the infinite world. There are these levels there. In that sense, it's ontology, but it's based also upon rasa, upon the development of taste, higher degrees and more intense degrees of taste and lower degrees. So here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is giving his interpretation of this verse, his commentary on this verse. In Bengali, Vaikuntha Taite, Shrestha Mathura Nagari, Janama, Labhila Yata, Krishna Chandra Hari, Mathura Hoite Shrestha, Vrndavana, Yata Siddhi Yache Han, Hari, Rasotsabaha Kama. Vrindavan Hoite Shrestha, Govardhana Laila, Giridhari, Gandharvika, Yata, Krita Vaila. Govardhan Haite Shrestha, Radhakunda Tata, Premamrite, Masraila, Gokula Lamputa, Govardhana Giri Tata, Radhakunda Kari, Chadi, Anyatra, Ye Kari, Dija, Kunja Puspa Bhari, Ye Bodha Tahara Sama, Keha Nayara, Kunda Tira, Sarvatama Sthana, Premadara. And translation, higher than Vaikuntha is Mathura city. Since there occurred the advent of Sri Krishna Chandra Hari, but better than Mathura is Vrindavan, the holy place where Lord Hari enjoyed the joyous dance of amorous grace. Above Vrindavan Dham is Govardhan Hill. The lifter of the hill and his consort there did intimately revel. Even higher than Govardhan Hill is the banks of the Radhakut, that the sweetheart of Goloka overflowed sweet love about. Who would select for his worship any other place, disregarding the sacred pond at Govardhan base? Such a foolish fellow surely can't be found. The highest abode of love divine is the banks of the Radhakut. So Vaikuntha is also part of the spiritual world. Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, the word Vaikuntha means, Kunta means anxiety, fear. And Vaikuntha means fearless, no anxiety. Vaikuntha is the plane above the anxious world. It's above the world of fear, means above the world of death. Greatest fear of this world is death. That we will become nullified, will become nothing. That's what we see in this world. What you are at present, at the time of death, you will become obliterated. Mrityu. Sometimes this world is called Mrityalok, the land of Mrityu, the land of death. The land of ultimate dissolution. All your riches, all your wealth, all your knowledge, everything will be destroyed. Will count as nothing. People are striving so hard for these things. And yet, what is the ultimate conclusion of it all? You'll be left with nothing. What was that name of that great conqueror?
Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great, He was the student of Aristotle. A disciple of Aristotle was his spiritual master. Can you imagine to have Aristotle as your spiritual master? Anyhow, Alexander the Great, he conquered all of that part of the world, went to all the different areas and the Arab countries and India, other parts of that area, Persia. Everywhere he went, Greece, he conquered those areas. And after he came, in his old age, when he's about to leave everything else, he called all of his doctors together. He said, look, what use is your doctoring? What use is all your knowledge of medicine? You are not able to save me at the time of death. And I want you, all his doctors said, I want all of you to carry my palanquin. When I carry my body through the streets on a not a palanquin, what is that called? A stretcher. Carry my body on a stretcher. I don't want any fancy thing. But I want all my doctors to carry my stretcher, to show the people, here are the great doctors, and this is what they can do for me at the time of death. They can carry my body out. All right. So they had to agree because he was a king, Anyhow. Then he said, and I want all my arms outstretched, laid out, like this, with my palms up, hanging over the stretcher. And I want to show the people that despite all the wealth, all that I have gained in my whole life, and all my conquering conquests, I am at the time of death, I have nothing. I have nothing. I came into this world naked and empty-handed, and I'll leave the same way. Then what was the accomplishment? Then he said, then I want you to take all my treasury, all the gold, all the ornaments, or whatever is there in the treasury, and to throw it in the gutters of the street as we are proceeding. To show that all this wealth is worth nothing. I gathered all this wealth, but what is the worth at the time of death? Nothing, because I cannot take it with me. It's worth nothing to me now. In this way, he taught the people what Aristotle had taught him. Don't put your heart in all these things, worldly things. At the time of death, you'll understand that you have wasted your time. But he had, of course, some understanding. From Aristotle, he gained some understanding about the absolute. And therefore he was able to speak like that. He wasn't a depressed man. He was a very intelligent, very competent person. But he understood all these things perfectly. So like that. Anyhow, so the first level of spiritual knowledge is called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, to get free from from death, from the fear of death. In other words, to become eternal. Do you believe that you are eternal? Can you understand that? That you have an eternal self? Krishna gives a nice example in the Gita. He says, Dehino sminyata dehe kamaram yoganamja. Look, your body is changing. You're a child, you're a youth, you're an old age. Your body is constantly changing, but you, who you are, that remains the same. Undisturbed by all these changes, uninfluenced by all these changes. There is an eternal, unchanging part to go along with the changing part of this world. They are together. And in human life, a human being can understand this. He can see this. Animal can't think that much. They cannot understand that clear distinction between their changing body and themselves. That doesn't come to their consciousness because they don't have that kind of intellect. They have some intelligence, no doubt. But this kind of thinking, this kind of subtle thinking, that's only for the human form of life. The human is capable of making such distinction. And then, but to act upon that, to inquire about that eternal part of the self, that is the proper business of a human being. Human beings are supposed to study philosophy, what that means, because that can't be studied by science. Science can only study the transitory world, the world of a phenomenon, the world of appearance. But the noumenal world, that which is appearing, behind the appearance, there is a reality of that which is appearing. How to reach that? Okay? Human intellect, human intelligence meant to study that. That's called truth. The underlying reality is called truth. The outer reality is called certainty. The reality that is in our consciousness, that is called certainty. That is facts. We call that facts. What we are conscious of. But we are conscious only of the appearing reality, not the reality itself, not the truth itself. To reach that requires a different process than simply consciousness. To be conscious of something. That's only the one side of the story. So the deeper reality begins with Vaikuntha. And then it goes further than that, step by step. The spiritual scientist, Sripad Goswami, has shown that there's a progression from Vaikuntha to Mathura, to Dwarka, to Mathura, to Vrndavana. And even within Vrndavana, there's different gradations. Up to Govardhan Hill and then to Radhakund. What is the changes? What is the characteristics of all these different levels that make them different, that characterize them in this different way? And what is the progression that is being implied in these concepts? This is something only a very finely theistic intelligence can understand, who entered into that world. But that must be our aim. If we're not making progress there, we're not utilizing our human form of life properly. We're not using the capacity that we have. And it's not to be done on our own. We need help with that higher. Otherwise, how do we enter there? How do we possibly get a foothold there? We can't do it. We are finite. And the finite wants to enter to the infinite, not directly, not possible by direct use of finite abilities. Finite abilities could never, no matter how much of it you use, this finite, this little bit, this little, however much we combine all of our finite capacities together, it cannot enter, not penetrate the infinite. Infinite has a different understanding, a different logic than the finite. That infinite can reveal itself to us. That is possible. But that is even difficult for us to get hold of, to get in connection with. And therefore, Guru is given to us to help us make that connection to the infinite. Make our connection with the truth. Certainty and truth. How to go from certainty to truth. What we know to what is to be known. What is the truth of it there? What we know is limited, is finite. And there's always conflict between what one's finite finite ideas are and another person's finite ideas. There's always conflict. One so-called philosopher is conflicting with another so-called philosopher. In the absolute, that's the only place where all these differing finite conceptions are consolidated, are unified. Only in the infinite self-revealing infinite, self-manifesting infinite. Then we can resolve this irresolvable problem of different viewpoints, POVs, they call it, point of views. They're not possible in this plane. We are by nature finite. We can only know finite things. The truth is something else. That is universal, permanent, absolute. Not that it's dead, not that it's sterile, not that it's static. The infinite is also alive, a living, self-conscious, self-luminous. It is there too, but it's by a different logic, a different methodology is applied there. And we read about these things also in the scriptures, Pratyaksha, Paroksha, Aparoksha, different epistemological processes are enunciated in the Vedas. Pratyaksha means direct perception. Paroksha means learning from others. Aparoksha means knowledge that descends, knowledge that comes down to us from the scriptures. And above that is adhokshaja. Above knowledge, there's something. And aprakrita. Prakrita means the higher platform, which is achintya. It looks like material, but it's not material. The same things are going on there as going on here. Up on the plane of dedication, devotion, and surrender, there are activities, and in the plane of exploitation, they are perverted into the types of things we do here in this world. So all this knowledge is there. Why finally laid out, explained very scientifically, systematically, if we just follow. And we are fortunate enough to follow, to catch some grasp, to have some real sincere interest. And then we'd be able to follow very carefully and make progress step by step. We should be able to make progress. It's not that this should be beyond any hope of attainment. No. You can understand if you are making real progress on your own. You don't need someone to tell you or anything. Only within your own heart you can see you are making progress. Tadami Bhakti Yoga Tam. Krishna gives us intelligence how to make progress toward his abode, toward him. But there are certain things we have to do also. He can reveal everything to us at the moment, but he gives us a chance to work from our side too. Just like a tree, the seed first is in a seedling form, then it becomes a sapling, then it becomes a little more an older tree, and only later will it start developing fruit, flowers and fruit. Only later in its life. The same way we have to start slowly from the beach, the Bhakti Lata beach is called, from that seed of devotion that is within our heart. From there it starts. That we have faith and we have yearning, longing to reach that fully developed stage of love, praying, bhakti. The Bhakti Lata beach will blossom and fructify into praying at the lotus feet of the Lord. Rupa Goswami has given us that method, how to get there, how to follow that path. But it's up to us. We must do that. That must be based upon our desire to attain that. Don't waste time with doing other things. If you're wasting time doing other things, then how you are going to make spiritual progress? Which is more important? To gain the whole world or to lose your soul? Your eternal soul. Jesus said like that. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his eternal soul? Don't waste your time running other errands. Our real purpose is like that. To understand what is our spiritual wealth. That we are And it's our constitution. It's our real nature. It's something we have to invent or create. And we just have to discover the proper process of Sharanagati. That's what this book is about. And of Sharanagati. Prapanna. Prapanna means surrender. Raja 23. Raja Rasa Sarupa Sita Sambandha Jnanoraya Parakaha Prakaha Prakara Karo Goste Gostala Yishu Dujane U Soragade Swamantre Srinamni Vrndavana Yuva Dvarna Sharane Sada Dhammam Hitva Kuru Ratim Apurvam Atitaram Ai Santar Bharatas Chatuvi Abhiyache Ditta Pada. This is from Raghunath Das Goswami. Now Raghunath Das Goswami, he's right up there with the Rupa Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami is called the Prapanna-Acharya. Prapanna-Acharya means he teaches us the ultimate goal. Rupa Goswami teaches us the Abhideya. It's called the Abhideya-Acharya. Rupa Goswami teaches us the path. Abhideya means the path. Prapanna means the destination. And Sanatana Goswami, he's the Sambandha-Acharya. Sambandha-Acharya means our present position. Prapanna means the goal, and Abhideya means the path. So Raghunath Das is the Prapanna-Acharya. He's teaching us the highest goal of attainment. And we can see that in his life also. So the proper approach to realize one's eternally perfect divine identity in the Vrndavana of devotion. Gurudev.
Bhakti Vinod.
Bhakti Vinod. Bhakti Vinod's explanation here. Is also Raghunath Das's conception. And he begins with Gurudev. Why? Well, Raghunath Das actually doesn't teach Krishna consciousness. The ultimate goal of the Vaishnava is not Krishna consciousness. It's Radhadasya. Radhadasya, to worship the servitor of Krishna, the one who pleases Krishna the most. He is higher. In the Gaudiya Vaishnava conception, Radharani holds the highest position. Even Krishna worships her. Even Krishna wants to become her. Mahaprabhu is Krishna wanting to take the role of Radharani, to experience what Radharani experienced. So she holds the higher position, not Krishna. This is Raghunath Das conception. Devotee. They've been dominated. They are higher, not than the predominator. Gurudev. Gurudev is in the realm of the predominated, the servant. Gurudev, Rajatwane, Raja Bhubi Vasi Chane, Sura Bhakti Ara Viprakane, Ishta Mantre Hariname, Yugala Bhajana Kame, Kara Rati Apurva Yatane, Tarimana Varane Tomar, Janiyachi Ebe Sar, Krishna Bhakti Vina Ar, Nahi Guche, Tivera Sansar. Karma Jnana Tapa Yoga, Sakali Ta Karma Boga. Karma Chadite Ke Haranare. Sakale Chadiyabai, Shraddha Devi, Shraddha Divira Gunagar, Yanra Kripa Bhakti Tite Par. Chari Damba Anukshana, Smara astan tatvamana kara tahe nishkapata rati. Se rati partanaya Sridhara Goswami Paya Bhakti Vinod Kare Bhakti Vinoda Kare Nati. One of his famous prayers, I think maybe it's from Varanagati, famous bhajans. So here is giving the list. Divine Master, Sri Vrndavana, the residents of Vrndavana, the pure Vaishnava, the Brahmana section, the worshipful mantra, the holy name, yearning to serve the company divine. Adore these 8 with utmost dedication. O dear mind, I implore thee at thy feet. Already we have learned the essence. Nothing but Lord Krishna's service dispels the soul's illusory experience. Duty, knowledge, penance, meditation, all are really exploitation. None can free us from action and reaction. Cast them all aside. O my brother, sing the glory of good faith, our mother, whose grace alone bestows pure devotion. Banish your pride forever. O my mind, your 8 goals remember. Adore them with a heart that is sincere, aspiring for that devoted heart at Sri Das Goswami's feet. This Bhakti Vinod makes his prayer. Das Goswami means Raghunath Das Goswami. Banish your pride forever. What is that pride? In this material world, what is that pride? We want manina, amanina. We want manina. Manina means we want recognition from others. We are looking for recognition from others. Fame, that means fame, a good name, respected position. That's manina. We want to be honored. Only if I am honored, then I feel like an honorable life, then I can feel happy about myself. It's paradoxical, huh? If others think nicely of me, then I feel nice about myself. That is not. That will not get us to where to our true self. Only if we love Krishna. They are the true self of God. Only if we submit to his will, regardless of the consequences of my so-called reputation. What others will think of me if I simply follow Krishna's will. Give up all other considerations. Moral, ethical, whatever. Arjuna was asked to kill everyone. Krishna, how you can expect me to do such a thing? What will people think of me? I'm a murderer. Slaying my own family. Arjuna, I am asking you to do this. That's the only consideration you need. And if you can do that, then all this other disgrace that you will face from the world will be as nothing. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami maharaja. I will take all the reactions for myself. Need not worry about all of that. In the neglect all your duties, neglect all your well-wishers, and so forth. They are not the important thing. They are meant there to keep you in this world. Your real purpose is not to achieve some fame in this world. The highest Vaishnavas, they're praying, let me become lower than a worm and stool. Does a worm or something lower than a worm and stool have any prestige? Is that a prestigious position? Is that a respected position in society? If people think of me as a worm and stool, lower than a worm and stool, can I tolerate that? For the sake of Krishna. Mahaprabhu told us, Trinada peace and Ichena, to be lower than the blade of grass. What kind of pride, what kind of honor do people give the grass that they walk upon? What to speak of lower than that? To honor even the grass. I have always told about this. I was meditating on that one day. How do you become lower than grass? And I was thinking, well, what is grass? Can the scientists make a blade of grass? They have so much science, but can they produce a blade of grass? Do they have any capacity? They know what photosynthesis is. They know your cellulose is. They know what all these biological chemicals are. But can they go into a lab and make a single blade of grass? Impossible. That one poet, American poet, Joyce Kilmer, he wrote a poem. He said, I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. Only God, he ends it with, only God can make a tree. Most beautiful thing he was thinking, a tree. A poem, is a poem comparable to that? We can make poems, but can we make trees?
Poems are written by fools like me.
Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Like this. Mahaprabhu told lower than grass. Then can anyone make grass? Is it such a lowly thing? If it's so lowly, why do we have such trouble? Why is it so hard? Inconceivable for us to make it. What kind of thing is that? What kind of marvelous creation is a blade of grass? Full of mystery, full of infinite divinity. And we are to consider ourselves at that level. Now we are also of that level, divinity. But why do we hold grass to be lower than ourselves? Why do we consider it to be unrespectable, to be walked upon without consciousness of what we are doing? I like that. When we think about these things, we recognize what the great teachings that the saints and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are giving us to try in that way. Give up our material attachments, make progress in the path of surrender, acceptance of the Lord's will as the guiding force in our lives. Hare Krishna. Oh, already 10 after 2 o'clock. Sorry. Okay. My humble dandavats Prabhus. Jai.
Dandavas pranam Maharaj.
Vrndavana.
Please be well.
Dandavas pranam devotee.
My affectionate, my love to you. Be well, stay happy, stay in service, but evil.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.